Good evening, folks. This is Deb Delapiana, and this is your short take. I just want to spend 10 minutes, finally, now that the Warnock race is over, wrapping up the 2022 midterms. So let's talk a little bit about what the Democrats did right. The Democrats kind of defied history here. Typically, over ever since I can remember, and I've been looking at politics for a long time, the party in power loses either the House or the Senate in the midterms. Now, given the prevalence of Donald Trump's grasp on the GOP and the number of seditionists still left in office, a red wave was predicted, and it did not materialize. In fact, a record number of LGBT people were elected. I believe it was 400 over the entire midterm cycle in all levels of government. The states, we have now got 4 states that have what we call trifectas, where the Democrats own the governorship and both chambers of the legislature, and that would be Massachusetts, Minnesota, Maryland, and Michigan. Michigan for the first time in many decades. We retained the Senate and added a 51st seat in Raphael Warnock, who was actually forced into a runoff because the winner needs to have 50% of the vote. And I should mention that is that runoff in Georgia, that whole scenario is a Jim Crow law that was left over from yesteryear when they were working very hard to keep blacks out of office. So he overcame that, and he is our 51st senator until, of course, Kyrsten Sinema, the opportunist, decided to leave the Democratic Party today and become an independent. And we're not going to go into any detail here on that. That, to me, is something you shouldn't worry your pretty little heads about, because she's going to do what she's going to do no matter what initial she puts next to her name. I believe that Kyrsten Sinema left the Democratic Party knowing that she was going to be primaried in 2024, and now this gives her the opportunity to avoid all of that, should she choose to run again. We'll go back to that. We'll be talking more about her over the weekend. The Democrats managed to stave off people like Carrie Lake and Dr. Oz. And Kathy Hochul was returned to the governorship and staved off Lee Zeldin, who was a total Trumpian. So we did a lot of things right. We did a lot of things not so right. And had we done more things right than we did, this could have turned out to be much better for the Democratic Party and for the American people. So had more than 52% of registered voters gotten off their ass and voted, this could be a very different scenario, because I am in agreement with Barack Obama, who said if 90% of the Democrats voted in this country, we'd never have to worry about any of this. And he is absolutely right. We could have really done a whole lot more to purge fascists from our government had more people gone out and vote. And, I don't want to hear anymore that, the Democrats, they sometimes have low voter turnout during the midterms. Well, fucking shame on you. Especially shame on you at a time when we have fascism on the doorstep. Whether you want to believe that or not is immaterial. It's actually a fact. And if you think that you're going to solve the economy and any of your other primary concerns under a fascist government, you may want to rethink that, because that's never happened in history. Fascist governments do not benefit the people under any circumstance. And you're going to find that out because the Republicans took control of the House where we left 24 seats unchallenged. And maybe that's okay, because that's a real small percentage, given the number of seats that were up. That's a real small percentage, but it's huge when you have fascists in government and they're trying to install more. What if we had challenged all of those people? And what if we had eked out 6 or 7 more people? That could have changed everything. Everything. The state of Florida, which was once purple, is now totally blood red. It's totally blood red because the Democrats de-invested in Florida in many ways. Monetarily, definitely yes. In 2018, when Andrew Gillum ran, who was already a compromised candidate because he was already under investigation, they gave him $7.5 million. They gave Charlie Crist in 2022 $50,000. In Florida, in the Miami area alone, Ron DeSantis spent $17 million on TV and radio advertising. That was what Charlie Crist spent in the entire state of Florida. They wasted Charlie Crist, a really good candidate. They wasted Val Demings, an excellent candidate who knows how to get the job done. They wasted an opportunity to get rid of Marco Rubio. And the state of Florida is in total disarray in terms of the Democratic Party. I know the leader of the party is being called on to step down. Maybe that's a solution, but that's not the only solution. The Democrats basically ignored their base. The Republicans, on the other hand, spent significant amounts of money courting the Latino and the Black vote. I think maybe the Democrats just assumed that because people are Latino and Black, they're going to vote Democrat. It is never that way, my friends. Everybody needs to be courted. Everybody needs to believe that they're important. And the Democrats fell down on that one. The Democrats need to get their shit together on some level by 2024. Look what they were able to do in Michigan. For the first time in decades, they controlled the state. Now, they're not going to be able to do that by 2024. But the Democrats need to start rebuilding some kind of a power base in the state of Florida. That's a very important state that should not be allowed to slip away permanently as a permanent blood red state. There needs to be some work done there. And honestly, that to me was one of the biggest mistakes of the midterm. That was an opportunity. We could have had 52 seats. We could have had another Democratic governor instead of having the fascists that we have down there. And yes, I do believe that the Blacks and the Latinos who voted for Ron DeSantis and his band of merry men are voting against themselves. And maybe they find that out the hard way. And we do better in a couple of years. But the fact of the matter is that the Democrats didn't court those voters. And I am positive that they knew that and acted accordingly. Come on, people. Let's get real. I don't have any kind of ideology for anybody, okay? I don't idealize anybody, all right? But I know that the Democrats and the Republicans, I don't do that 2016 bullshit anymore. They are not the same, two wings of the same bird. They are not the same on any level, okay? There is no equivalence for the two parties. That is obvious now. If it is not obvious to you now, then you're not paying attention, or you really just don't want to see it and you want to keep saying the same thing over and over and over again because it gets you a number of hits. Makes you seem like you're not that you're not held captive to parties, okay? It doesn't matter that it's not true. It's what gets you known. And I swear that's why most people are on social media, but that's not why I'm there. The Democrats did a lot of things right, and the Democrats did some key things wrong. And they need to shape up, and they need to step up. And that includes the Democratic Party voters. No more taking midterms off, folks. We are not there anymore. And we are not done with fascism in America. We're going to be talking a lot this weekend, and we're going to be talking about that as well. And if you think that just because we did well in the midterms, we're out of the water, you need to wake up. I will talk to you all tomorrow. We'll have another video then. See you later.